You ever wake up and feel like the whole place is sitting on your chest? That was me that morning. Lights popped on at 5:32 a.m. Same harsh fluorescent buzz, same cold metal smell, same arguments echoing through the tier. Some dudes were already banging on the doors yelling for chow. Others were still knocked out, pretending to be anywhere else but here. I was half awake, half dead inside, sitting on the edge of my bunk, staring at the concrete like it had answers to questions I never asked. That's when the CO walked by doing count. He didn't even look at me at first, just checked the clipboard, clicked his pen, stepped forward, then doubled back. He tapped the bars with his flashlight. Rodriguez, you got visitation today. 1:45 p.m., be ready. He said it casual, like just another line on a sheet, but it felt like someone punched me right under the ribs. Visitation. I hadn't had a visitor since the sentencing. Mom can't handle seeing me like this, and I didn't blame her. Dad's been ghosted from our lives since high school. Friends, they dipped faster than my case hit the news. Only one person made sense, my sister Alina. The thought alone had my hands shaking, but I didn't tell anyone. You don't show emotion in here unless you want to look like prey. I tried to eat breakfast. Couldn't. Tried to lie down. Couldn't. I just paced around my cell, thinking about everything I'd been running from. Not the bars, not the time, the guilt, because it's one thing to hurt strangers, but when your family suffers because of you, that hits different. Around noon, Rico, old dude in the next cell, noticed I was restless. Kid, he said, tapping the wall, stand still. Your thoughts louder than the whole damn block. I smirked a little. He always talked like he'd been here since the building got built. I got a visit today. I finally said, keeping my voice low. He paused. First one, yeah, he hummed, like he'd seen this story 100 times. Listen, don't walk in there trying to be stone cold. Family ain't the streets. They need to see your heart, not your armor. I didn't answer, but his words stuck to me like wet cement. By 1:20, they called my name again. I lined up, got pat, searched, emptied my pockets. Well, the tiny things they let us have, and walked past 3 sliding gates that opened one by one with that heavy electric buzz. Every step felt slow, longer than usual, like time didn't want to take me where I was going. When they finally opened the door to the visitation area, that smell hit me. The weird mix of disinfectant, cheap vending machine snacks, and old carpet. Not warm, not welcoming, just neutral, like the room wasn't allowed to feel anything. And then I saw her. She was sitting by the glass already, hands folded, head down, wearing the same gray hoodie she used to steal from my closet, hair tied in that messy knot that meant she didn't sleep much. She looked exactly like my sister, but she looked worn out too, like time had been chewing her up while I just sat in a cell counting days. I stood there for a second, frozen. My heart felt heavy, not just because I missed her, but because she didn't deserve any of this. She looked up, and the second our eyes met, her face cracked, not into a smile, not into tears, just something in between, that look someone gives when they don't know whether to hug you or break down. I sat down across from her, lifted the phone, and she did too, but she didn't speak right away. She just stared at me like she was trying to memorize every part of my face, like she needed proof I was still here. Finally, she said softly, "You look older." I let out a slow breath. Feels like I aged 10 years in 10 months. She nodded, eyes glistening but refusing to let tears fall. "I almost didn't come," she said quietly. "I didn't know if you'd want to see me. That one hit deep. Why wouldn't I?" She looked down, "Because I didn't know if you still felt like you deserved us." My throat tightened. She wasn't wrong. There's this thing about prison that nobody talks about. You don't just lose your freedom. You lose the version of yourself your family used to believe in. I stared at my hands, tracing the scars across my knuckles. "I wasn't pushing you away," I said. "I just thought maybe staying silent hurt you less." She shook her head instantly. "No, you being gone hurt. You disappearing hurt worse. Nothing in here ever felt heavier than that moment." She took a deep, shaky breath, then said the words I wasn't ready for. "I forgive you, but you have to forgive yourself someday too. Before I could answer, the CO radio crackled. Wrap it up, 10 minutes. She glanced at the clock like time was slipping through her fingers. There's so much I want to say. She whispered, we got time. I said, I'm not going anywhere. She laughed, sad, tired, but real. I know, that's what scares me. The look in her eyes said everything she didn't have time to say. I pressed my hand to the glass, and after a second, she pressed hers against mine, 2 hands touching, one free, one locked up, glass between us, but the closest I'd felt to home since the gates closed. For the first time since the accident, since the court, since the cuffs, I didn't feel like a monster. I felt like somebody's brother again, someone who still mattered, someone worth loving, despite everything. She kept her hand on the glass longer than I expected, not like she was trying to comfort me, more like she was trying to hold on to whatever pieces of me were still there. The room felt smaller, colder, like the air got sucked out of it, and all that was left was the stuff we'd been running from. She finally pulled her hand back and sat up straighter, like she was preparing herself for something heavy. I need to tell you what it's been like, out there, she said, voice low, like she didn't want the CO or the room itself to hear. I nodded slowly, say it. Her jaw tightened. People look at me different now. Like they're scared to ask about you, but they want to know every detail at the same time. I swallowed hard. I already knew. Small towns don't forget, and they don't let you forget either. I never wanted you to carry that, I said. She shook her head instantly. You think I had a choice. Silence hit us like a punch. She leaned closer to the glass. When I go grocery shopping, moms grab their kids and walk the other way. When I walk into church, people whisper like I'm the one who did this. It's like your sentence didn't stay inside these walls. It's bleeding into everything we touch. My chest felt tight, not angry tight, guilty tight, the kind of guilt that sticks to your bones and doesn't wash off. I lowered my voice. I know what I did ruined lives, Elena. I know it ruined ours too. She shook her head, eyes finally watering. It didn't ruin us, it just hurt us. There's a difference. I didn't know what to say. No apology felt big enough. Before I could speak, she asked the question I'd been dreading. Why didn't you fight harder? In court, I mean. I looked away because she didn't understand. Nobody did. I wasn't fighting the sentence. I was punishing myself. I didn't want sympathy. I finally said, I did what I did. I deserved time. She slammed her hand against the glass lightly, not angry, just desperate. But prison isn't the only way to pay for what happened. Her voice cracked, that mix of sadness and frustration only family can pull out of you. You shut down. You stopped talking to everyone. You just took the plea deal like you wanted to disappear. I clenched my fists, memories flooding back like a dam breaking. The crash, the screaming, the sirens, the faces of those 2 kids. I exhaled slowly. I wasn't trying to disappear. I said, voice low, I just didn't think I deserved to breathe the same air as y'all anymore. She stared at me like she was trying to understand a language she used to speak but forgot. You're wrong. You're not a monster. You made a mistake, a horrible, tragic mistake, but you're still human. I shook my head. Tell that to the parents who buried their children. Her eyes flickered. Pain, anger, heartbreak all at once. You think I don't think about them. I pray for them every night, but hating yourself won't bring them back. I didn't respond. Because she was right, but that didn't make the guilt any lighter. The silence between us wasn't awkward. It was heavy, like both of us were holding pieces of a story too sharp to touch. Finally, she whispered, I didn't come here to make excuses for you. I came because you're still my brother, and I refuse to lose you to this place. That line hit harder than any sentence a judge could hand out, because she didn't come to absolve me. She came to anchor me, to remind me I still had a life outside these walls, whether I thought I deserved it or not. The CO radio crackled again. Last call. 5 minutes. She wiped her eyes with her sleeve, straightened up, and forced the smallest smile. I'll come again, she said, not because you need it, but because I do. That broke whatever was left of me inside. I leaned forward, forehead nearly touching the glass. Just, don't let this place change how you see me, I said. She shook her head, firm. This place didn't define you, she whispered. A bad day did. And just like that, 5 minutes suddenly felt like 5 seconds. When she stood up to leave, she didn't look back right away. Like if she turned around too soon, she'd break in front of everyone. She slid the chair back slow, hoodie sleeves pulled over her hands like she was holding onto herself instead of me. I kept the phone pressed to my ear even though she'd already put hers down. My mind was stuck in that moment, the warmth in her voice, the tremble in her hands. She walked toward the exit with her head low, her steps heavy. Every inch she moved away felt like someone untangling stitches, keeping me together. When the door closed behind her, I just sat there, frozen, like my body forgot how to move without her energy holding me up. The CO tapped the glass behind me. "Let's go, Rodriguez." I nodded, but my legs felt like sandbags. I stood up slow, hands cuffed, walked through the metal detectors and the buzzing doors one by one. Every gate that slid shut behind me felt like a reminder, she goes home, I go back to this. By the time they walked me back to the block, my face was blank again. That prison mask, emotionless, unreadable, settled back in place like it never left. Guys on the tier were loud as always, cards slapping tables, someone yelling about commissary, dudes cussing at each other just to feel alive. Rico peeked through the bars as I passed. How'd it go? I didn't answer, didn't trust my voice, just gave a small nod and kept walking. My cell door slammed shut behind me, and the silence hit different. Not peaceful, not empty, just loud in a quiet way. I sat on the edge of my bunk, elbows on my knees, staring at my hands again. Same hands that gripped a steering wheel that night. Same hands that touched the glass today. I don't know how long I sat like that, minutes, maybe hours, just replaying her voice in my head. I forgive you, but you have to forgive yourself someday too. Forgive myself. People say that like it's just another step in healing. But what do you do when the thing you're forgiving destroyed entire families? How do you make peace with something you'd give anything to redo? The weight finally cracked me open. I leaned forward, buried my face in my palms, and for the first time since the accident, I cried, not quiet tears, not a single drop rolling down my face like in some movie. I cried like a dam broke, breathing sharp, shoulders shaking, heart in my throat. No one saw, no one heard, and that was the only reason I let it happen. When I finally lifted my head, my eyes landed on a folded piece of paper sitting on the corner of my bunk. It wasn't there earlier. I grabbed it, unfolded it slow, her handwriting, messy, rushed, emotional. It said, "I can't carry your guilt for you, but I can carry you while you learn to carry it yourself. Don't shut me out again, Elena." I pressed the paper to my forehead, eyes closed, trying to breathe steady. That letter hurt more than the sentence, because freedom wasn't the thing I lost. It was connection, and she just handed me a piece of it back. I laid back on the bunk, staring at the ceiling, letter still in my hand. For the first time since I got locked up, I didn't feel empty, just broken, and maybe breaking is the first step to rebuilding. I slept with her letter on my chest like it was some kind of armor, not because it protected me, but because I finally felt like something in here could still reach me. The next morning came loud as always, CO yelling, metal doors slamming, dudes arguing over nothing, but my head was somewhere else. I kept thinking about Elena's words, "I can carry you while you learn to carry it yourself." Nobody ever told me grief could be shared without being erased. I always thought pain was a solo sentence. I sat up, pulled out the tiny prison-issued pen we get, and a sheet of lined paper that felt too small for everything I needed to say. At first, I just stared at it. My hand was shaking, not from fear. From pressure. What do you say to someone whose life you dragged through hell? After a few false starts, I finally wrote, "Elena, I don't know how to say sorry anymore without feeling like the word isn't big enough, but I am sorry, not just for what happened, but for disappearing after. I thought cutting myself off would protect you. I didn't realize it just left you bleeding alone, My handwriting looked different, shaky, uneven, like the words were fighting their way out. I paused, staring at the ceiling, then kept going. You said a bad day doesn't define me, but that day defined them. The kids, their families, our town. I don't know how to balance that. At that point, I had to stop. My throat got tight again. So I did something I hadn't done since I was 17. I wrote about us as kids. I still remember you falling off your bike on that hill behind the school, and I carried you home because you wouldn't stop crying. Mom said, "Take care of your sister, always." I failed that. I failed everyone. Halfway through writing that line, I realized. She didn't come to remind me of the worst version of myself. She came to remind me I had once been someone good, someone worth saving. I closed the letter with something I had never admitted out loud. I don't want to stay lost forever. If you're still willing to walk with me, I'll try to find my way back. Your brother. I folded the letter carefully, like it was fragile, and slid it into the outgoing mailbox during evening rounds. For the first time since sentencing, I didn't feel like I was waiting for time to pass. I felt like I was moving through it, but that night, sleep didn't come easy. My mind pulled me back to the night I tried drowning in silence, the night of the accident. I didn't ask for the memory. It dragged itself forward like a ghost. Headlights, rain, music too loud, laughing, a red light I thought I could beat, then impact, glass flying, metal folding, screams, silence. Kind of silence that isn't quiet, it's final. People think the worst part of prison is waking up behind bars. They're wrong. The worst part is waking up every day knowing you lived when someone else didn't. I opened my eyes, chest heaving. Even in the dark, even alone, I whispered out loud, "Sorry, not to myself, not to Elena, to the kids, to their parents, to anyone still living with the echo of that night." And maybe saying it didn't change anything, but saying nothing had changed even less. The next morning during mail call, the CO tossed a letter through my bars. It wasn't from Elena, it was from her friend, the girl who used to babysit the kids who died. My stomach dropped. I held the envelope in my hands for a long time before tearing it open. Inside, one line stood out, written shaky like hers, "You don't have to hate yourself to honor them." I sat down slowly, letting that sink in. Maybe grief isn't a place you stay. Maybe it's a place you pass through, if you let people walk with you. I folded that letter next to Elena's, placing both under my pillow like they were pieces of a map leading me somewhere better. Not freedom, not forgiveness, direction. For the first time since I got locked up, I didn't just feel like an inmate number. I felt like a brother, a human, someone who could still grow from ashes instead of choking on them. As lockdown lights dimmed and the tear went quiet, I whispered one more thing, something I hadn't believed until now. "I'm still here."